Their weakness is pretty damn obvious. It would just take one person fighting back with like a melee weapon to hit him in the nose. Just so everyone knows, it's not just a gun to the nose. Like the pin on the back of a sheriff's badge, like literally kills the main one.
Forgot about that, actually.
So any kind of nose damage just kills the freaking clowns. Welcome to the Tairimo Boys podcast. I'm your host Cody. With me in second chair is the man who knows how many bodies can fit in a clown car. It's Jeremy.
Found that one out the hard way.
And in third chair, we got the guy who's going to take you downtown to downtown Clown Town. It's Ryan.
Going on.
All right. If you can't tell by the title of the video, today we're going to be doing a review of a certain clownish movie called Klowns From Outer Space.
Yay!
So, let's get into it. Jeremy, first thoughts.
This is a very fun movie.
Oh, there's that word. Ryan, first thoughts.
Yeah, it was a barrel of laughs. I had a great time.
When Jeremy recommended this video last week for us to watch, I looked at it as like, man, I'm probably going to hate this movie. But I walked away like loving it. Like, it was a fun movie, and as you know, we've got a cliche for fun movies where our general consensus is it's fun. It's fun, everyone. It's fun.
Fun. Capital. Fun.
All caps fun.
I grew up watching this movie. I've always loved it. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Well, like the Conan movie, it's campy. I was expecting more of a horror movie, but it's a cheesy horror movie. Kind of like.
Well, let me stop you right there. As a child, I was terrified of this movie.
Well, as an adult, there is nothing to be scared of in this movie.
No, absolutely
Except
not.
maybe the popcorn gun.
My PTSD did kick in a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Speaking of the popcorn gun, did you know that this? I mean, you could tell this movie's on a budget, and I was reading that the popcorn gun was actually the most expensive prop used in the movie.
Yeah, there's no surprise there.
Does not surprise me.
$7,000 just to shoot popcorn.
Well, you know the $1,000 didn't go to makeup and costumes, so.
It wasn't exactly like bad costumes. The costumes were like good low budget costumes.
That's a good way to describe it. Good low budget costume. And maybe that's a better way to describe this movie. Good low budget fun.
I do have to mention though, there were a lot of plot holes in the movie, and probably got to mention them somewhere along the lines. But if you go into this movie expecting like a serious, like legit, logically planned out movie, you're probably gonna be disappointed.
You mean this wasn't a tightly written film? I'm shocked.
It indeed wasn't, Ryan. No Citizen Kane here.
Stay tuned for that review. What'd you think of Citizen Kane? It was really fun.
It was fun. It was campy.
Campy. 80s campy.
So let's get into the story beats. Ryan, is there like a special term used for like movies that are like corny horror like this?
Probably corny horror.
Okay, we're gonna have to copyright that as well with Gung Fu.
Corny horror. I love it.
So let's get into the story. This movie was made it was 88, right?
88.
Yep. So it feels like really 88-ish, where we've got a small college town. Those exist, by the way. I'm just gonna leave it at that. There is nothing not believable about that. But you've got the typical malt shop, and you got Makeout Point, and we're introduced to all the characters early. Hold on, I got a list here. We got Mooney, who's like the old grouchy sheriff who probably shouldn't be a sheriff. Then we got his
Definitely not.
Then we got his partner, the younger sheriff, Dave. Now, let's get into some of the other characters whenever we're going up to like Makeout Point. Like, these are all supposed to be like college kids, but their receding hairlines kind of indicate that they might not be typical college age.
Their arthritis.
Okay, so you guys were a little creeped out too. That wasn't the only one.
The Torrenzi brothers, like, especially, like, dude, these guys are not freaking. This is more like a 40-year-old that goes back to college. This is our college kids.
But that guy's drowning in college debt.
Well, selling ice cream could be a lucrative business.
I can see it.
aside from them, we've got really the main two characters. Dave's probably third most important character, but we've got Mike and Debbie. They're just boyfriend and girlfriend, and apparently Debbie used to date Dave, the cop. So he's probably fresh out of the police academy. I think it's also worth mentioning that Debbie's roommates are known for having big boobs. That's very important.
It's a very important fact.
So they're all being college students up at Makeout Point, and that's when our villains come in. There's a giant comet that just rains down the sky, and we're introduced to like some like backwoods hillbilly old man and his dog going out hunting for Haley's Comet. Isn't like Haley's Comet like made out of solid gold or something? No, actually it might be ice.
I believe ice, but that would be badass.
There are golden comets up there, but not a golden comet doesn't rain down. Instead, it's a fucking circus UFO.
Yep, no golden comets, just clowns.
If you touch their support wires for their tent, you get fucking electrocuted.
Yeah, don't touch those. It's an OSHA violation not to have a sign up about that high voltage.
I don't think the clowns have space OSHA.
Shame on them.
Did you not see the inside of their ship with their like reactor engine or whatever? That was an unrailed balcony.
Definitely not passing space OSHA.
Old man goes out and his dog go out hunting. Finds the fucking circus, and he loves circuses. Of course, he gets zapped touching the wires and decides to pick a fight with the tent, which turns out to be freaking metal. And that's when we're introduced to the clowns for the first time.
Ah, yes.
So the first thing they do is they grab the guy's dog, which is like this blood. You can tell it's like a lazy bloodhound, but like that never went anywhere. I fully expected it to go somewhere.
You get a lot of that in this movie.
Maybe the writing need to be a little bit more tighter. They end up getting the old man. They zapped him with a ray gun, right?
I believe so.
We have villains that are clowns, and it's maybe implied is probably the key words here that maybe they came down like a long time ago, and our clowns are based upon them, but they never get too deep into it.
And there's your clown history for the movie.
Ryan, you're a history nut. Do you think the pyramids were built by clowns?
Yeah, that tracks.
All right. Wasn't ancient
That's
aliens?
Kicked out of my field for saying clowns built the pyramids.
And there's our expert opinion.
Wasn't ancient aliens. It was ancient alien clowns. Let's talk about the clowns' weaponry, and let's also talk about the clowns' weaknesses, because plot holes is a big thing. So, first off, clowns, they've got super strength. We see at one point the clown punches like a guy's head off with like an uppercut and boxing gloves.
That was pretty awesome. Not gonna lie.
Now, they've also they can make balloon animals, and like the animals are real. They've got ray guns that turn people into like cotton candy cocoons. So this is actually like really important to the plot.
Yes, don't touch that cotton candy. Although Dave didn't, he was perfectly fine.
Speaking of that, we'll get to that later. Cotton candy guns. We've already discussed the popcorn gun. Apparently they have a gun that shoots popcorn. Then popcorn's kind of alive, and I don't know if it makes baby killer clowns or if it's just like some really weird plant head thing that the popcorn turns into. That popcorn alone could probably take over the entire planet.
It's definitely the most dangerous weapon in their arsenal.
Yeah. One of them was driving an invisible car. Now, there was the scene where like one of the clowns is like trying to lure like a little kid out. He's got like a mallet, but they stop the kid from going out before he does it, before the clown can get her. I had to ask myself, is like, if a clown's trying to, this movie takes place like after John Wayne Gacy, like, maybe you should attack a clown trying to lure a kid outside.
Here's your sign.
So they can make shadow puppets that are like real, which really wasn't expanded too much upon other than like a T-Rex. A bouquet of flowers that can spray water. One of them's got like one of those like party streamers that goes out to be like blowy. They can turn people into ventriloquist dummies. The big one, if they throw a pie at you, the pie's made out of acid. For some reason, you turn into ice cream. That really wasn't explained.
Not a whole lot of explaining in this movie. It's left for you to interpret.
But you're probably thinking, is like, why doesn't anyone shoot these clowns? So it's like 2/3 of the way of the movie till someone finally shoots the freaking clowns. Spoiler, it turns out it does nothing.
Yeah, shoot him in the gut.
Well, I mean, that would take down anyone.
These 8-foot clowns.
But the big thing is like we find out that whenever he's using that gun, he shoots him in the gut a few times. Like, oh, that does nothing, and raises it to the head. Shoots his nose. The nose is their freaking weakness. If the red nose gets destroyed, they blow up. So that really raises the question: is like, why are they doing like all this comical shit? Like, why are they using like, mallets, boxing gloves? Their weakness is pretty damn obvious. You would just take one person fighting back with like a melee weapon to hit him in the nose. Just so everyone knows, it's not just a gun to the nose. Like the pin on the back of a sheriff's badge, like literally kills the main one.
Forgot about that actually.
So any kind of nose damage just kills the freaking clowns. Ryan, is your nose that sensitive?
Yes, when I get punched in it.
Do you spin around and explode though?
Yes.
All right.
Every time.
You have to kick me in the nuts for that.
I'll do
Your
backwards.
nuts explode.
And I just fully explode, starting at the nuts.
Just disintegrate after.
But yeah, why are they using like all these like really goofy weapons when they've got such a weak vulnerability? It's best not to think too much into it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But there's really not much to the story. This movie does like an A and a B plot, and the A plot is following like the main characters around. Like trying to get to like, hey, there's clowns. Like, what's this comment? And then, oh no, there's killer clowns. And then them actually trying to fight the clowns. Once the ridiculous premise is kind of realized into reality for people. And then the B plot is just the clowns going around doing all their things with all these goofy weapons, and there's really nothing much to it. It's just the whole fun premise. Story's whole simple. Just as soon as the old man dies, Debbie and Mike go and see it. They get inside the interior of the ship, and we're really introduced to the whole cotton candy cocoon thing. The cotton candy cocoons are important to the plot, because apparently whenever cotton candy cocooned, you start disintegrating, and then the clowns use a silly straw to drink your blood out. They're kind of just stopping by for like a gas station snack break. That's why they're at Earth.
Slurpees. Human Slurpees.
Now,
Yep.
One thing I didn't mention is for their weapons is they could also like put people in balloons. I don't understand that. That was more of a plot armor type thing. It's like, oh, we're gonna put this person in a balloon instead of a cotton candy cocoon. That way they can be saved.
Pretty much.
I kind of wish they would have explored more with that.
That was definitely a set of plot armor. In this cotton candy, it disintegrates everyone, except for, as we said earlier, Dave, who can touch it. Be perfectly fine.
Well, I don't think it was. I think touching it was fine. It was as soon as you're inside it. I don't know. It wasn't very well explained. Just go with the plot. Probably don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
Certainly not cotton candy you want to eat.
Nope, that is a human Slurpee. Mm-mm.
I did have to wonder. Like, I wonder if those cotton candy. I wonder if the prop is made out of freaking asbestos or something. We're breathing in fucking asbestos.
Cotton cancer.
That's probably a scientific term after everyone came away from this movie.
Cotton cancer.
So, Mike, Debbie find the clowns. They barely escape from the UFO, spaceship, circus tent. It's multi-purpose. And then the clowns start wreaking havoc across town. Of course, we have... they go to Dave because, like, hey, this premise is pretty fucking crazy, right? So, maybe we can... At least Dave will listen. The old grouchy sheriff won't. But the old grouchy sheriff shouldn't even be freaking working because the guy's, one, he's drinking on the job. Two, he's constantly breaking the law, trying to uphold the law. And is there a three? The guy's just a freaking asshole.
He's an asshole. And he was killing that Jack Daniels. Gives me a run for my money.
Then again, the 80s was a different time. It was okay
It
to
was a
drink on
different
the
time.
job back then.
People had grit. Employers had grit. This was allowed back then.
Maybe he was like Bob Hoskins and Mario. He was like, oh, I can't believe I got to be in this fucking movie.
That might be it.
It's a good theory. Instead of drinking off set, he's drinking on set. Director decided to leave it in. But, yep, they start wreaking havoc across town. People are calling him, trying to get help. He's like, oh, you guys are all working together to fuck with me. And then he ends up running into a freaking clown. Just say he gets his just desserts.
God. Yes, he does.
Yeah, apparently the clowns can kill someone and then turn them into a ventriloquist dummy.
I enjoyed that scene. That was a fun scene.
But, yeah, So it's kind of like slaps. Whenever the old sheriff guy Mooney and the clown meet, it's kind of slap. The clown is like playing along with him. Put your hands up, and then arrest him, and then his fucking hands come off before he's killed with the little party blower thing. Eventually, clown breaks out. We find out their weakness, and we go into like we go into the final act where Debbie gets kidnapped by the clowns. The clowns have completely cocooned or ballooned everyone. They go and they're getting ready to go back and fly off in their spaceship. So Dave and Mike have to go and save everyone.
Boss fight time.
Yeah, so they go into the UFO. They're fighting clowns off, they save Debbie because luckily she got ballooned instead of cotton candied, and
She had a plot armor.
Yep, plot armor, plot ballooned. So they're chasing around the ship, and the freaking ship's like a freaking fun house.
Fun house that you won't have any fun in.
The pole's like it's like the tongue of a monster, and the hallways are a crooked house where they start moving. And of course, Dave only brought like 3 or 4 shells for his shotgun. Most of the movie we only see like 5 clowns, but there's like a ton of clowns apparently. A lot of bunk space in the flying saucer. But eventually we get to we get to the scene where they're kind of trapped in like a big top room, and like all the clowns converging on them, and then the 2 brothers that were selling ice cream earlier in the movie, who really didn't do much in the movie aside from getting clown coochie.
They did get some clown coochie.
Yep, that's very important to the plot. Killer clown coochie. They bust through the wall. Apparently it's made out of stone, even though
Epic rescue.
it was established earlier that it's a metal ship. Their ice cream truck has like a freaking clown on top of it, so they trick like all the other clowns into thinking like, oh, we're the head clown. And then like I'm not even like you said, Jeremy, final boss. Like I even said, whenever like the big clown's coming down, this is the fucking final boss.
Yeah. You were waiting for this moment.
So giant clown comes down, throwing the ice cream truck around. They're all fighting with it, and just have to do an epic fight where its nose is its only vulnerable spot. Shooting it with a revolver does nothing, but the pin on the back of a sheriff's badge works just fine.
That bothered me so much.
Jeremy, it bothered you that a pin on the back of the badge killed the main clown and destroyed the whole spaceship?
But not final boss.
Meanwhile, all the other clowns are just fine. They just kind of fuck off because the main clown's coming down. That bothered you?
Plot nose armor. He had a plot schnoz.
Yeah, the final part of the third act is like it's kind of disappointing. Like you wanted like all these clowns to be receiving like justice, but no, fuck off. Big clown comes down and he dies like a bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Apparently, like everyone got away safely, and we're left with Mike and Debbie getting hit with a bunch of pies, which was established earlier. Yeah, which was established earlier that those were made out of acid, dissolve people into ice cream. But
yeah, they did have their plot armor on too.
Yeah, that was plot armor.
Lots of plot armor in this movie.
I think we've already established it's not Citizen Kane. If they wanted to fix it, they really need to tighten up some. They need to look into the plot holes, and the third act really didn't need to end like it did with all the normal clowns fucking off, and then a boring boss fight with the big clown. Somehow also held the existence of the spaceship in his hands.
Just don't think about it. Just go with it. Don't think too hard. And you'll love the movie.
So, Ryan, on a scale of Shaun of the Dead to Scary Movie 5, where would you rank this?
Dawn of the Dead, if Dawn of the Dead had been made in the 80s.
Fair enough.
Good point.
Jeremy, where would you rank it?
Oh, 80s slapstick horror fun. That's where I would put it. Not so much a ranking. I don't have a scale for this one.
That's why I gave you the scale.
Well, it couldn't be said. So, yep, I would rank it right there.
Any final thoughts, Jeremy?
No, my brain is still turned off from watching the movie.
Cheesiness of all the clowns just got to you.
It always does since I was a child. Fucking love this movie.
Ryan, final thoughts?
I thought for a brief second, I thought this movie was Leprechaun.
Cody, final thoughts?
Yeah, well, like I said, this is definitely a Tairimo Boys fun trademark certified movie. Certainly worth watching. It's considered a cult classic movie by many people. Now, I think reviewers hated it when it first came out because they were treating it more seriously. But like with some of our reviews, passage of time changes shit. And I know they've been trying to make sequels to the movie since it came out, and those have always been stuck in development hell. And the last of the series is they've been talking about making some like Dead by Daylight. No, not is it Dead by Daylight? It's some like you one team plays clowns and the other team plays survivors, and there's more survivors than there are clowns, and the two teams are competing type video game.
Sign me up.
Jeremy will be joining the beta.
I'll be there. Definitely
Definitely worth seeing. You won't have a bad time. It's got its problems, but
what movie doesn't?
yeah. Well, there's a way. Citizen Kane.
All right, good point.
All right. That's the end of our review. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell, leave a comment if it's calling us clowns, and stay tuned for another episode of the Tairimo Boys podcast.
Yes, please.
Peace.